Hey there, guys. Welcome to the 15th episode of Daily Word Webs to Build the Cat. The roots that we'll be taking up today are VIT, WIT, and WIF. Both of them stand for Life for a Life, right? So let's start. I'm Anupam Mishra, by the way. हाँ मेरा introduction मैं आपको सेशन के end में दूंगा as usual. For those of you who might be watching this for the first time and जो लोग देखते हैं तो आपको पता ही है. So yeah. So guys, the roots today, the root web we already had discussed yesterday last time, right? I think इसके पहले वाले episode में. Today we have, in addition to web, we have also taken wit. Even this root has both roots have a Latin origin, and they both stand for life and live or life, right? Other similar roots, bio is a root that we have already discussed. Okay, so let's start with the web. So we live in a startup era, right, guys? And hence I believe most of you guys will be able to relate to this hypothetical scenario. मान लीजिए कि at some point of time you have in future में कभी ऐसा हुआ कि आपको एक idea आया कि हाँ okay, this is a product or service that the market really needs or can really be useful, and you get together with your friends, close friends, and you start a startup. आपने किया कि चलो startup शुरू करते हैं. And then the like initial months pass by, you're able to make some sales, etc. But the cash, the savings have almost burned out, and at that point you realize कि नहीं यार कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा. You have a meeting with all of your co-founders, and then you decide that in a very short period of time you want to get some investments, right? So at the end of the meeting, to sum everything up, you basically make a statement. आप कहते हैं कि okay, guys, it's very vital for us to ensure that we get some investments in the next 2-3 months so that we can improve the marketing or the product design, etc. Right? Which will help us in starting to generate some revenue, some actual positive cash flow, right? So यहाँ पे जो आपने word को use किया vital, what you actually meant to say by in that statement by using the word vital was that it was almost a matter of life and death so far as your startup is concerned, at least, right? That for you guys to get some investments, you know? So vital, I hope you can now understand, this is basically a term that is used for something that is absolutely necessary or essential for something to survive. Okay, so that's vital for you. वाइटल से एक और शब्द आता है विच इज revitalize. Okay, a word that we learned in the last session was revive, right? Revive basically stood for to bring something back to life, or like the way a lifeguard would revive a person who was drowning after bringing them out of the waters. ऐसे ही revitalize is also like to put back life into something, right? For example, you can say that the fact that evidence was found, substantial evidence was found for the theory of evolution, kind of revitalized the Renaissance movement, है ना? So जैसे जैसे evolution वाली theory के कुछ कुछ सबूत सामने आने शुरू हुए, तो जो पूरा Renaissance movement था, which was about rational thought and everything, was kind of revitalized. उसमें नई जान आ गई, है ना? So that's revitalize for you. By the way, revitalize से एक you must have, I'm not sure if you notice, अगर आप नहीं करते तो प्लीज अभी से नोटिस करिएगा कि many of the names of many of the brands जो भी आप देखते हैं ना, and जो products होते हैं जो मार्केट में आपके advertisements आ रहे होते हैं, even their names are often derived from these like सब कुछ इंग्लिश में से आ रहा है, तो obviously like at the end of it will be derived from the roots, right? So you must have heard of this thing called Revital करके एक brand है ना, and generally it caters to middle-aged people who are उसमें एडवर्टाइजमेंट में आपको दिखाते हैं कि होगा टिपिकल मिडिल एज पर्सन हु इज काइंड ऑफ अ लिटिल लो ऑन एनर्जी एंड बहुत सारी चीज़ें करनी है पर नहीं कर पा रहे, थक जा रहे हैं. एंड देन दे से दैट कि ओके यू कैन टेक दिस विटामिन, ओके, व्हिच बाय द वे इज आवर नेक्स्ट वर्ड, मल्टीविटामिन, right? And which will revitalize. The idea is that the revital will revitalize your energies, right? So bring back life into you. वैसे मैं ब्रांड प्रमोट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं आपको वोकैबलरी सिखा रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. आई इन नो वे इंडोर्स और नॉट इंडोर्स, ठीक है? आई एम टोटली एग्नोस्टिक टुवर्ड्स दिस ब्रांड, सो डोंट टेक इट इन दैट मैनर. ठीक है. कमिंग टू vitamins. Now vitamins, guys, are simply any group of organic substances which are essential for normal growth and nutrition. राइट तो देखिए, एक तो आपके मैक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट्स होते हैं लाइक प्रोटीन्स, स्पेशली प्रोटीन्स आर द बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स, राइट? And you have carbs and fat which also play their own roles. But apart from all the macronutrients, you also have vitamins, which are not used directly, which don't serve directly as building the major building units like the way proteins do, but they are still essential, for general growth and nutrition of one's body. मैं biology में ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं जा रहा, but yeah. So this is the this is what vitamins are, and vitamins, as you can see, they derive from the root vita, which these are basically small organic substance elements or substances that are vital for your life, for you to be healthy, right? So that's how they derive from vita. Let's come to the next term, which is joie de vivre. Okay, joie de vivre. आपको याद होगा हमने इससे पहले वाले सेशन में, I think one of the terms that we studied was vivacious, one of the words, right? In the last episode itself, in fact, right? So vivacious was a word that we said that we can use for anyone. Maybe a friend of yours, that one friend who's always very excited and very enthusiastic about something. कि चलो ये करते हैं यार, ये नया उठाया जाए, ये किया जाए. They're always so lively and bubbly, full of life, right? So vivacious is the term that can be used for them. Similarly, so if you let's say you were to ask them कि यार ऐसा तो क्या है, मतलब कि why are you so happy all the time? ऐसे तो क्या मतलब life तो doesn't seem like my experience in life has been different, but how come you are so always happy and bubbling and with joy? So they might just respond to you कि okay bro, like I just I'm always filled up with this feeling of that can be best characterized as the joy of living. Okay, and the joie de vivre is basically just a French term, a French expression for the joy of living, right? That's what joie de vivre is. Vivre stands for to live. If you guys recall, again, ये भी हमने एक पुराने एपिसोड में देखा हुआ है, right? So joie de vivre stands for joy of living, a feeling of cheerful enjoyment of life. The opposite of this would be another term, a term which is ennui. Okay, I'll write it here, ennui, which stands for boredom. Okay, ennui stands for boredom, and it basically means a kind of feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction that arises from, let's say, some lack of occupation or excitement, right? So you might feel ennui, or you might feel a little bored, maybe because you don't have anything to do, you don't have anything to engage your attention in, or maybe even if you do have something to do, it basically doesn't really interest you, right? So maybe you've gotten too saturated with the job that you're into, or maybe with the studies that you're into, right? So that brings about a sense of ennui, a sense of boredom, a sense of listlessness. Is, by the way, another word that is quite often used in this context, listlessness, right? So and dissatisfaction that is arising from not being interested in something, or not being able to find something that is of interest to you. Okay, so that's ennui for you. By the way, this derives from the expression in audio. Okay, this expression stands for hateful in Latin. Okay, बहुत ज़्यादा deep में इसके नहीं जाना है आपको. Like although and I'm sure we can see there is some discordance between boredom and hateful. They are not exactly the same, but that's how this term has evolved over the years, and there's been a change of meaning. By the way, in audio में से एक और term आपका derive होता है, which sounds similar, but it's not exactly the same, which is annoy, right? The word annoy, that means if you're annoyed by something, that means you almost developed a feeling of hatred towards it. आप उससे परेशान हो चुके हो, right? So annoy also comes from in audio, and ennui also comes from in audio, but they have quite different meanings, as you can see here. Okay, now moving on to curriculum vitae, which is the next word here. Now curriculum, guys, according to many sources, it's basically a Latin term that stands for a course, and specifically a race course, because apart from a course, it also sometimes stands for a racing chariot, right? आपने ये रामायण और महाभारत काफ़ी बार जो टीवी पे आता है, and COVID-19 जब शुरू हुआ था उस टाइम पे भी they had started replaying those shows. You must have seen that in those वहाँ पे there are these chariots with just two wheels, right? They just have two wheels, and the front part of the chariot is basically pegged indirectly to the horses who are driving them, right? So it's so that's that kind of vehicle is known as a curricle, CURRICLE, right? So that will be your racing chariot. Okay, मैं यहाँ पे ठीक से लिख देता हूँ इसको. So a racing chariot is known as a curricle, and from that you can derive the term curriculum, which apart from sometimes meaning a chariot or a racing chariot, also often, more often in fact, means the course of things, right? The course of a race track probably, but when taken in a figurative sense, or maybe अगर इसको और किसी context में लेके जाया जाए, तो फिर इसका मतलब हो जाता है कि a course of anything, and hence in the context of education, it would be a course of subjects that you study to obtain a degree, right? So that's your curriculum, by the way, right? अब बोलते हैं कि हाँ ये like what is the curriculum of this particular course, या फिर ये इस degree का curriculum क्या है, right? So that's curriculum for you. What is curriculum vitae then? Curriculum vitae is basically a document that showcases that has a brief account of one's career milestones and qualifications. The way you can think of curriculum vitae is like it basically showcases all the vital elements, all the milestones and qualifications. Vitae is for life, right? Important. All the important elements and milestones that you may have achieved as part in the course of your career, right? And hence your CV, right? Which you take to your job interviews. So that's curriculum vitae. इसका guys इसका if you look up curriculum vitae ना, इसका जो आपका general जो meaning आपको हर जगह most of the sources will show you that the course of life, इसका meaning जो बताया जाएगा काफी जगह वो होगा course of life. But I believe मेरे हिसाब से वो interpretation इतना accurate नहीं है with the CV, right? A better interpretation of this could be, as I said, जो मैंने आपको बताया कि the most vital elements or milestones in your career. So a curriculum vitae is supposed to showcase those, right? So that's what I believe would be a better interpretation of this. Anyhow, so curriculum vitae से हमने curriculum हमने discuss किया. Another term that that comes from this would be your co-curricular activities, right? What are co-curricular activities? Co-curricular activities are curricular. Co is for with or together, right? So that means the activities which basically to some extent do relate to the curriculum, right? And similarly, you have your extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities would basically be activities, well, which apart from in addition to your curriculum, the activities that you undertake as part of your college or as part of your education would be your extracurricular activities like sports, etc. And co-curricular activities maybe being part of councils or other examples. There can be many, right? So I'm sure you must have heard of these terms. So again, see, they all derive from curriculum. So curriculum vitae, curriculum, the word itself, co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities. आगे चलते हैं. The next term that we have here is viva voce, right? So I still recall like this used to be after the final exams or maybe just before the final exams in the semesters. In my case it was engineering. आप लोगों के केस में शायद कुछ लोगों के केस में engineering होगा, कुछ लोगों के केस में और कोई undergrad होगा. But viva होते थे ना, बोलते थे कि हाँ viva है, viva का exam है, right? So I have some interesting stories to share there, but अभी मैं नहीं share करूँगा. But yeah, so but those used to be some really interesting times. You can still imagine the whole scenario. All the students are waiting outside in a they have been made to sit like maybe in a hall somewhere, and there's a cabin जहाँ पे एक करके लोग अंदर जा रहे हैं, बाहर आ रहे हैं, जो भी बाहर आता है उसके पीछे सब लोग like almost everyone rushes to them as like reporters कि हाँ क्या हुआ, क्या पूछा गया. So good old days. So viva voce is basically when you are being tested in person. Viva, live, that you're actually there live, not in the written format, right? And voce is for like the orally and the verbally, like you're being tested orally or verbally. That voce stands for the orally and verbally part. Viva stands for live, which in this case means in person, right? That you're there in person there, like alive there. अब वहाँ पे आपको एक दूर जगह से आपने पेपर लिख के दिया और बाद में वहाँ चेक होने जा रहा है, ऐसा नहीं. You're actually there present. So viva voce stands for that, conducted orally or verbally rather than in a written format. Viva voce is not just, by the way, used in the context of exams. सिर्फ exams के context में use होता है ऐसा नहीं है. This is also used in the context of getting a vote on something or getting a consensus on something. Like people might provide their preferences or votes about a certain issue by being as part of a meeting, right? अगर कोई meeting चल रही है and if you're asked to, okay, say all those who are in favor of option A, please raise your hands. You're essentially, or please say yes that you're in favor of this, right? Then that's again a case where by viva voce you've conducted the referendum. Referendum is, by the way, the process of getting a vote, right? Referendum is another term. Yeah, so that's about the words for today, guys. Okay. Section, what you can simply do is pause the video and एक एक करके one by one go through the usage instances of each of these words. We have taken the pains of ensuring that these sentences have been derived from some credible sources. So yeah, so that it will help you understand, better understand the meaning and the way these words are used in sentences. So yeah. And this is where you can test yourself. You're simply supposed to figure out the correct order of sentences to match the words here, right? The link, you can also attempt this test in the format of a Google form, the link to which has been provided in the video description. And here's a list of the roots and words that we've learned in this session, guys, on a primary and secondary basis. What you can simply do is pause the video and take a stock of all that you've learned, and yeah, that'll be it. Finally, guys, I'm Anupam Mishra, and I'm Lucknow alumnus. These are my areas of work and expertise. These are the brands that I've worked with, and these are my CAT credentials. I've also worked as an academy educator in the past, recognized by the Johnny Ivy Award for Best Course Design and Delivery. And yeah, so that's about me. Sluggers, guys, we are a growing channel. मैं यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारी जो दिक्कतें हैं यहाँ पे टेस्ट प्रेप में मैं उनको एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ स्लगर्स के द्वारा. एंड बिकॉज वी आर ग्रोइंग चैनल, हमें आपके पूरे सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत होगी. तो अगर आपको हमारा कंटेंट और डिलीवरी अच्छा लगता है देन डू like and subscribe, like the videos and subscribe the channel, subscribe to the channel and share it with anyone who you think might benefit from these. आपके लिए शायद वो एक सिंपल सा क्लिक या एक बटन रहता होगा, बट फॉर अ ग्रोइंग चैनल इट मेक्स अ बिग इट मेक्स अ बिग डिफरेंस फॉर अस. सो प्लीज डू दैट. अगर आप नेक्स्ट वीडियो देखना चाहते हैं तो आप यहाँ क्लिक कर सकते हैं. एंड इफ यू वांट टू गो टू द वेरी फर्स्ट वीडियो ऑफ द सीरीज, जो अगर आपने नहीं देखा हो तो आप यहाँ क्लिक करके आगे जा सकते हैं. ओके, सो दैट्स अबाउट इट फ्रॉम माय साइड. थैंक यू.